Namaskar everyone. My name is Nitya Bhan. I am 11 years old. I study in Sri Ram World School. Today I am going to speak some few lines on Lal-Ded. Lal-Ded is today celebrated as literally great who defined the modern day Kashmiri language. But for generation of Kashmiris, she is a spiritual figure whose words, verses or sayings have been revered for nearly 700 years. In a state now sadly divided, Lal-Ded is equally admired by Hindus and Muslims who refer to her as Laleshwari and Lala Arifa respectively. She is believed to have been born between 1301 and 1320 CE in the vicinity of modern-day Srinagar to a Brahmin family. The following period was a great political upheaval in the region. In 1320, a country was attacked by Zulchu, a Central Asian chieftain, which led to the downfall of the last Hindu king Kashmir, Sahadeva. Zulchu is said to have been massacred thousands of locals and also forced them to convert to Islam. Once he left, the kingdom was in disarray until there was another attack from Shams Uddin Shahmid, an adventurer from Swat in present-day Pakistan. He went on to find the Shahmid dynasty, which ruled the region for over 2 centuries. Lal-Ded grew up in these turbulent times, and we can get a glimpse of her life story from her. After primary education, she was married at the age of 12 and given a new name Padmavati as was the norm then. However, it wasn't a very happy marriage with her mother-in-law constantly mistreating her. One anecdote tells us how Lal-Ded was starved. Her mother-in-law put a stone in a plate and then covered it with a thin layer of rice so that it appeared to outsiders that she had been served a heap of rice. In another anecdote, one day Lalved's family was hosting a feast to invoke blessing and prosperity. The neighbors efficiently teased Lalved about how she would have a sumptuous meal to eat and shouldn't forget to share it with them. To this, she replied, "Har mertan kin hath nalvat tasli nazan." Whether they kill Ram or Ram, Lal will get a stone to eat. This is now a popular proverb in Kashmiri. Lal-Ded found a little sympathy in her husband, who was blinded by his mother's accusation against her, including claims that she was cheating on him. His mother had arrived at this conclusion because every morning Lal-Ded left the house to fill up water from the river and returned only in the evening. What her mother-in-law didn't know was that in between, Lal-Ded was spending time at a Shiv temple on the another side of the river. Lal-Ded was an ardent devotee. All in all, it was a miserable life, and instead of bearing it all like numerous other girls of her time, Lal-Ded walked out. Lal-Ded became a wandering mendicant. She also disrobed herself, a sign that she wanted to leave behind the unnecessary baggage of culture and clothing and look forward by dwelling upon the inner self. By now considered a mad mystic due to her actions, she roamed nagged reciting her works. It was then she met her guru, Sant Shrikant, who helped her in her spiritual journey. Lal-Ded's work are among the earliest known manifestations of Kashmiri literature. In fact, it was her work that laid the foundation of the modern Kashmiri language. In her time, the region had people from all over and of different faiths: Buddhists, Nath Yogin, Brahmins, Sufis, and Tantrics. And Lal-Ded picked up a smattering goods from all of them while on her travels and used them in her work. The first mention of Lal-Ded appears in the Tadkirat-ul-Arfin 1587, a hagiographic account of saintly figures active in the valley of Kashmir. It was written by Mullah Ali Rana, the brother of Srinagar's beloved saint Makhdum Sahib. More than 250 works attributed to Lal-Ded are currently in circulation and form an important part of Kashmiri folk tradition and popular culture. Poet Ranjit Haskote, who has studied and translated Lal-Ded's work, and put together an incisive anthology of her work says across the expanse of her poetry, the author whose signature these poems carry evolves from a wanderer, uncertain of herself and looking for anchorage in potentially hostile landscape into a quester who has found belonging beneath the sky that is continuous with her mind. Lal-Ded was a rebel and rejected conventional society and attacked its rituals. She was also critical of religious orthodoxy. Her works have underlying thoughts of defiance. Lal-Ded died in her 70s, leaving behind a body of work which asks people to look within, think and reflect and liberate themselves from the bondage of society. Although nothing about her is uncertain, including the fact that many works are credited to her may have addition or deletions and could have been written later. It doesn't take away from the fact that Lal-Ded's voice set of a resource that continues to inspire scholars and regular folk even today. Some of her famous works are When the Sun Melts Away, the Moon Remains. When the moon melts away, the mind remains. When the mind melts away, what's left? Earth, either sky, all empty out. Second work was Don't torture this body with thirst and hunger. Give it a hand when it stumbles and falls. To hell with your woes and prayer, just help others through life. There's no truer worship. Third, 1,000 times at least I asked my guru to give nothingness a name. Then I gave up. What name can you give to the source from which all the names have sprung? The last and fourth one is I didn't believe in it for a moment, but I gulped down the wine of my own voice. And then I wrestled with the darkness inside me, knocked it down, clawed at it, ripped it to shreds. Thank you.